The NFL is a week-to-week league, and anything can happen on any given Sunday. And we saw that this past week in week 10. The problem is with certain teams, sometimes those losses that they don't foresee and those surprise losses can turn into another loss the next week and then another loss the week after next. I want to talk to a few fan bases that caught some of these L's, and I want to caution them, don't let one bad loss turn into 2 and 3, and then you're reeling at this pivotal time in the NFL season. Dallas Cowboy fans, let me holler at you for a minute. Now, the problem I have with your fan base, is that you don't know how to take a L gracefully. As soon as you win, you're pounding your chest. And I told you over the last few weeks, we'll see when you play tough competition. All of your wins, with the exception of Philadelphia Eagles, have been against teams with losing records. Now, I know you can't help your schedule, but you take care of business, what you're supposed to do. And I told you over the last few weeks that when you play a tough team, a playoff bound team, you beat them, then holler at me. What'd you do last week? Prime time at home, you lost to a playoff bound team such as the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings is a good team. You had a chance to win, but you didn't do it. As soon as you lose, you can't take the loss gracefully. All you want to do is point back at your rings that you hadn't won since the 90s. Cut it out. We live in the now and in the future, not in the past. And I caution you, don't let that loss last week turn into another loss going into this week, week 11. When you play against the pesky Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions have a losing record. I get it. But they're a pesky team, and they don't get blown out, especially at home. You mess around and let that L that you caught last week turn into another L this week. And what do you know? In week 12, who do you got? You go to the New England Patriots. You take a few of those L's consecutively, you in trouble in your division that you got the Philadelphia Eagles in breathing down your neck. San Francisco 49ers, let me holler at you. Oh, when you were undefeated, you were pounding your chest. Now, I get it. That was a great game, one of the best games I've seen all season. And I told you, Mr. Russell Wilson was going to give you a problem. Now, that was a tough division game, hard-fought game. But don't let that loss turn into another loss, what you got coming week 11 when you play against the Arizona Cardinals, who I want to point out you barely beat on a short week, nonetheless, against a division opponent just a couple of weeks ago at Arizona. Now, you do get them at home, but I want to point out a few things that I saw in that loss against Seattle that I didn't like, and I want to caution you. The Davian Clowney and company brought the heat and brought the pressure, and Jimmy Garoppolo was scrambling. He didn't know what to do. He lost a weapon in Emmanuel Sanders, and then he just couldn't get it together, and that pressure was on him. Arizona Cardinals is no slouch. Now, they're led by a rookie quarterback in Kyler Murray, offense doing a little something, and I still like the defense, San Fran, but I want to caution you about Arizona's defense. You got Chandler Jones, one of the league leader in sacks. You got Terrell Suggs playing some of his best ball. You know, they brought back Patrick Peterson just a couple weeks ago, and that defense is starting to look better. I caution you, don't let that loss last week turn into a loss going into week 11. And who do you have week 12? You got Mr. AR-12 and the Green Bay Packers coming into town. So I caution you, don't let that last loss turn into 1, 2, maybe even 3. Get it together. New Orleans Saints. I just want to give a round of applause to my Atlanta Falcons. Now, we're not going anywhere this year, evidently. We're 2-7. But we went into New Orleans and thumped the Saints. Rivalry, a bitter rivalry. We went in there and thumped them. Did y'all know Drew Brees and company did not get in the end zone? Yeah, the score was 26-9. Them boys came through and brought the pressure. Thumped. I want to caution you, New Orleans Saints, man. Don't let that loss against the Falcons turn into another one this week. When you go to Tampa Bay, another division rival, who you caught a little trouble with a few weeks ago at home. It's a pesky rivalry in the division, and you never know what can happen. So don't let that last loss last week turn into 2 against Tampa. And who do you have going into week 12? The Carolina Panthers. I just caught you. Don't let one loss turn into 2, possibly 3. Any given Sunday, any given week, anything can happen. Guys, if you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, hit the like button and subscribe. Even comment below. I don't get enough comments. Comment how you feel about the show, what you want to see in the future, what you want to talk about. Let's start a conversation. What more can we ask for? It's the NFL. I love it. It's football, y'all. We getting it in. It's week 11. We in the grind any given Sunday.